welcome to Storyboard. I'm Shibani Gharat. The Storyboard 18 DNPA Conclave and Digital Impact Awards served as a pivotal platform for discussions on the revenue sharing disparity between digital news publishers and major technology platforms. Key stakeholders including Union Minister of Information and Broadcasting Anurag Thakur, Minister of State for Electronics and Technology Rajiv Chandrasekhar and G20 Sherpa former Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant delivered addresses at the conclave, which was being organized by DNPA in association with Network 18 Group. Many experts, industry leaders also converged to address this pressing issue amidst the backdrop of the imminent Digital India Act. The conclave focused on the theme navigating digital transformations and challenges in the media industry. I caught up with a few experts on ground to gauge their reaction on the pressing issue of revenue disparity between publishers and big tech players. Listen in. One of the topics discussed during Storyboard 18 DNPA Conclave was tracking equitable models on digital media. To tell us more, and somebody who was a part of this discussion, we have Elena Perotti, who's joined in all the way from France. Elena, tell us more. What were some of your key takeaways from the conversation that you had?
Well, the first takeaway of them all is that the problem of revenue sharing between platforms or generative AI companies, technology in general, and publishers is a matter that cannot be solved by the free market. Democracy needs to help in order to keep being preserved by journalism. The second most important key takeaway is that publishers need to stick together, use their associations in order to ensure that a negotiation which is more effective is the conclusion of their talks with big tech.
And India is an interesting market because it's not just English publishers, it's also regional language publishers. And you made a point on how regional language and language publishers have a better negotiating power. Many of those who are watching this, what are some of your tips to share, and how probably something that has happened in Europe can be replicated in the country?
Well, you are extremely attentive to my answers in this case. I was in this case speaking about generative AI when I said that generative AI needs the only way that it's going to give good output, relevant output, is if the input is correct. Okay, therefore they absolutely are in need of good news content in order to stay relevant. So what I said was that whereas in English there are plenty of news content providers out there who could accept a token, a small handout from OpenAI, and give out their archive almost for free, like it happened in the social media times, for local languages there are so much fewer companies, and therefore that content is even more important to OpenAI because there are less. So they really should unite. First of all, stop the crawling immediately so that OpenAI cannot steal their content from the past right away, and start negotiating knowing that they need your content. They cannot produce good content unless they have your content before. So yes, they have a big opportunity.
News is very critical for Google, right? To be the democratic, open platform that it wants to be, it is extremely important to us to have this diverse news presence, right? So I think the commitment to news is old, it is deep, and it is global, right? So I think from Google's side, there has never been an opportunity that one has not. Even from the publishing side, I can tell you, right? And I said this even when I was on the publishing side. There's been no opportunity where Google has not come and said we want to partner, right? And there's no question about the news and Google partnership. I think as AI and with this technology march, I think Puneet hit the nail on the head saying, how can Google help us transform for the future? I think we will think much more deeply about that. I think that's a key takeaway I take as well.
One is the legal part, and there is already something going on in the CCI and the DNPA and the other publishers associations, they have given them some material. They have examined them, and I believe they are investigating the whole thing, and they will come out with something in the end. The other is on the policy front. On the policy, I'm very doubtful whether there is anything which is going to happen until the elections, which would be another 3 months away or something. So one can continue on that point also, and also learn from what other countries have done in this regard: Australia, France, Spain, Canada, Brazil, and so on. Still, I would feel that at the end of the whole thing, you have to build up your own strength in the Digital News Publishers Association in terms of unity, in terms of talking to each other, and investment in technology.
Yeah.
So this is what probably would help them.
The cost of putting across credible news on digital platforms is immense. And at the same time, if you look at the big tech companies, they are making millions of dollars in revenue annually. Can you tell us more on how can that disparity be reduced?
So I think, see, what the big tech company has done extremely well
Yeah.
is to garner audiences at scale. And therefore, everybody needs those audiences. And therefore, top of funnel becomes extremely important, for news companies to use big tech to get audiences on board. So without reducing the importance of that, and that's a very important thing, I think when you work together on a common goal, because what's the common goal of big tech and the news media, right? Increased reach, increased monetization, right? Profitability. Everyone has the same goals. I think it's all about coming together at some point and saying, how do we do this better? How do we set the global standard? I mean, we are the largest democracy in the world today as India, and news is such an important part of that democracy. So how do we set the global standard for news creation, for credible, fact-checked news, and for news dissemination? I think when everyone comes together, the magic will be there.
And then on the sidelines of the event, I also caught up with the Chief Compliance Officer and Head Legal and CSR, Poonawalla FinCorp, Manoj Gujaran, and did a brief chat with him about the factors that are shaping the current lending landscape and what are some of the strategies that they are applying. On the sidelines of Storyboard 18 DNPA Conclave, I'm catching up with Manoj Gujaran of Poonawalla FinCorp. Welcome to CNBC TV18.
Thank you, Shibani.
Tell us, what are some of the key things shaping the lending landscape in the country today, Manoj?
Yeah, so if you see what we are doing on the lending landscape, we are trying to give a thorough, good, best customer service experience to all our customers. We are, coming out with all the digital solution, digital enabled platform where, we have now come up with our mobile app. So a customer can apply on the app and he can get loan in 1 minute. So 1 minute disbursement. So we are covering those customers who need loan as low as 50,000 and up to 2 lakh rupees. And of course, and above that segment also, we have a digital enabled platform where we are able to disburse loan in 1 day. And the rate of interest that we are charging is very reasonable, very competitive as compared to the competition that charges basically close to 30-40%. We are somewhere between 10 to 20%. So that's the rate that we charge. And additionally, what we try to do is provide super customer service to all our customers. That's the basis, and that's the motto that we have.
Also, if you can throw in some light on what are some of the factors that are shaping, this entire dynamic fintech lending landscape in the country.
So fintech landscape basically is getting all the customers on the digital platform and helping them to get loan in a very quickly, like this, say in 1 minute or 2 minutes. So like we have a payment aggregator platform, all the data is available there. We are not now able to do disbursement through UPI. UPI is actually till now was used for making payments, but now you can also give loans through UPI. We do CKYC, we do VKYC, we do CKYC and VKYC are, centrally there are KYC database available for all the customers. So you can pull the KYC and you can quickly, you don't need to get the KYC details again from the customers. Video KYC, VKYC is that the customer comes on a platform, the KYC is done in like 1 minute and then we can disburse loan. So I think this has helped the customers to come on this platform, and these fintech platforms has built their algorithms and all, so that they can check their credit behavior, they can check the transaction things on the system itself, without going back to the customer and asking and wasting time. Then the loan disbursement happens very faster.
And how aware is the consumer of all of these things? Also, some of the strategies, that you apply to engage better with the consumer.
Earlier, I think when a customer used to approach a lender used to dictate terms. Now it is the opposite.
The other way around.
I think customer is now able to dictate terms. He
Yeah.
will have 2-3 sanction letters or 2-3 offers, and then he will say, "मेरे को वहाँ 15 मिल रहा है, यहाँ आप 20 दे रहे हो." I think that is what has changed. Plus, the customer is also aware how he needs to address or post his grievances and how he needs to get it resolved. I think which is good.
Yeah. And how is this insight? It's a great insight that you just shared that, customer is dictating terms now to the players. Basis that, how are you shaping your marketing strategies and your interactions with the consumer?
So we are heavily focusing on digital marketing, digital innovative solutions, and all the AI-enabled processes that we have put in place. So easy to get the customers which we want. We do not give new loans to new to credit. Basically, we only do loans to customers who have existing credit profile or existing loans. So it's easy for us to know the credit behavior, loan behavior, repayment behavior, and whether it has been done on time, what kind of grievances, or everything can be accessed from the system. So that makes our life easier to do a thorough assessment of any such customer and then onboard a good customer so that it doesn't turn into an NPA or a delinquency later.
Yeah, one of the important aspects, in fact, of digital marketing is, of course, also engagement with finfluencers, which, had to go through a lot of scrutiny in the past year. So how do you navigate that? How do you deal with and rope in and engage with these finfluencers? What are some of the filters and factors that you keep in mind while doing so?
So as you know that we are a listed entity, also regulated by the RBI. So we have to be extra careful. SEBI regulation is applicable.
Yeah.
SEBI regulation is now applicable on the fin influencers also. And these fin influencers now need to talk about something which is only available in public domain and not give which is an unsolicited information so that it doesn't confuse the shareholder or the investor. So I think what we have been able to do is only share the information which is true and which is available on public domain and not share something which is unpublished or insensitive information.
It is time for a short break. On the other side, we are catching up with Prashant Kumar, CEO Group M South Asia, on how Indian ad revenue is estimated to grow at 10.2% in 2024.